Imagine standing at the edge of a world that is older than the oldest forest and grander than any city built by human hands. Beneath the rolling waves of the turquoise ocean lies a silent empire, a fortress built not of brick or steel, but of time, patience, and living stone. Before you close your eyes to drift away, let us submerge into the warm embrace of the coral reefs, where history is written in the language of the tides, and silence is the most beautiful song of all.
Long before the first breath was drawn on the surface of the earth, and long before the mighty redwoods of California stretched their arms toward the sky, there existed a world of infinite blue and profound silence. In this ancient time, the Earth was a quiet planet, a sphere of water and mist where the days stretched into centuries and the nights were deep and endless. It was here, in the warm and nurturing cradle of the primordial ocean, that a miracle began to unfold, not with a roar of thunder or the crash of continents, but with a microscopic spark of life that would eventually build the greatest structures our world has ever known. Imagine yourself floating in this prehistoric sea, where the water is clear and warm against your skin, and the only sound is the rhythmic, eternal heartbeat of the tides. There is no land in sight, only the vast, open horizon, where the azure sky meets the sapphire water, and beneath you lies a landscape of volcanic rock and shifting sands, waiting for a touch of life to transform it into a garden of stone. This is the dawn of the living stone, a time when the architects of the abyss, the tiny coral polyps, first began their silent work. These creatures, soft and unassuming, drifted through the currents like dust motes in a sunbeam, searching for a place to rest, a place to call home in the vast emptiness of the ocean floor. When one singular polyp finally touched the hard surface of a submerged rock, it did not merely rest, but it began a process of alchemy that continues to this day, extracting calcium and minerals from the seawater and weaving them into a hard protective shell, a cup of white limestone that would become its fortress and its legacy. It is hard to fathom the patience required for such a task, for this was not a city built in a day or even a millennium, but a slow, deliberate construction where every millimeter of stone represented years of silent labor. As you drift deeper into this ancient memory, imagine the solitude of that first polyp, a lone pioneer in a dark and empty world, yet it was not destined to be alone for long. It divided and replicated, creating a neighbor, a twin, a partner in this grand design, and together they continued to build, cementing their skeletons together to form a bond stronger than the rock itself. Generation after generation, these tiny architects lived and died, leaving behind their limestone chambers as a foundation for the next generation, rising slowly from the seafloor like a cathedral reaching for the light. The water around them was rich with nutrients, and the sun, piercing through the depths, provided the energy they needed to thrive, creating a symbiotic dance between the coral and the algae that lived within their tissues. This relationship, forged in the dawn of time, allowed them to turn sunlight into stone, a feat of engineering that nature had never seen before. As the centuries turned into millennia, these mounds of living stone began to shape the currents, creating barriers that slowed the water and created calm, sheltered lagoons where other forms of life could find refuge. The reef was born. It was a silent explosion of structure in a shapeless ocean, a testament to the power of persistence and unity. While the surface of the Earth was still a volatile landscape of erupting volcanoes and shifting plates, the coral reefs were creating a sanctuary of stability, a place where the chaos of the world could not reach. Imagine the sheer scale of time as the reef grew, inch by inch, surviving the shifting of the poles and the cooling of the Earth, standing firm as the water levels rose and fell with the coming and going of ice ages. These are not merely rocks, They are the history books of the planet, recording every change in the climate, every shift in the ocean's chemistry within their layered bands of calcium. As you listen to the story of their birth, let yourself feel the weight of this history, a comforting weight that grounds you and connects you to the very origins of life. The coral reef is a reminder that great things are built slowly, that patience is the most powerful force in the universe, and that even the smallest creature can leave a mark that lasts forever. In the silence of the prehistoric ocean, there was no hurry, there was no deadline, there was only the rhythm of growth and the cycle of the tides. The water flowed over the developing reef, polishing the stone, bringing food and carrying away waste, a gentle and endless caress that smoothed the rough edges of the new world. This was a time of peace, a time before predators, a time when the reef was the undisputed ruler of the shallows. The colors began to emerge, subtle at first, the pale whites and creams of the limestone, then the greens and browns of the algae, painting a mosaic on the ocean floor that would one day rival the most beautiful sunsets. As the reef expanded, it became a mountain range underwater, with valleys and peaks, caves and overhangs, a complex geography created by life itself. Imagine drifting over this ancient landscape, feeling the sense of awe at the sheer magnitude of what these tiny creatures accomplished. They built a wall against the storm, a fortress that would protect the coastlines of continents not yet formed. They created a habitat for millions of species that had not yet evolved. They were the visionaries of the deep, preparing the world for the explosion of life that was to come. And yet, through it all, they remained silent, humble, and steadfast. The story of the coral reef is not a story of conquest, but a story of endurance. It is a story of holding on when the currents are strong, of building a foundation when the ground is shifting, of finding light in the darkness. As you visualize this dawn of the living stone, allow your breathing to match the slow, rhythmic pulse of the ancient ocean. Inhale the peace of the deep water and exhale the stress of the surface world. You are safe here, floating in the timeline of the earth, witnessed by the silent watchers of the reef. The water supports you just as it supports the coral, cradling you in a suspension of time and space. There is a profound comfort in knowing that this process has been happening for millions of years, that long before you were born and long after you were gone, the coral will continue to build, continue to grow, continue to purify the ocean. It is a cycle of eternal return, a loop of life that never breaks. The first polyp that settled on that lonely rock started a chain reaction of life that has spread across the globe, from the warm waters of the Caribbean to the vast expanse of the Pacific, creating the underwater rainforests that breathe life into our planet.
But here, in this story, we are still at the beginning, at the moment of creation, where everything is fresh and new and full of potential. The chaos of the universe is held at bay by the order of the reef. The water is still, the light is dim, and the work of the coral is just beginning. It is a hypnotic, repetitive task, layer upon layer, day after day, year after year. There is a meditative quality to this growth, a trance-like state of existence where the only goal is to be, to endure, to become. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine that you can hear the faint, microscopic sound of the coral building its skeleton, a sound like the settling of snowflakes or the growing of grass, a sound so quiet it can only be heard with the heart. This is the lullaby of the ocean, the song of the earth creating itself. The living stone is not dead matter, it is vibrant with energy, a collective consciousness of billions of tiny lives working in unison. They do not compete, They cooperate. They do not destroy, they create. In this ancient world, harmony is the law of nature. The reef teaches us that we are all connected, that every small action contributes to the whole, that we are all part of a larger structure that protects and sustains us. The dawn of the living stone was the dawn of community, the first time individual lives joined together to create something greater than themselves. As the darkness of the prehistoric night wraps around the ocean, the reef glows faintly with the light of the moon filtering down from the surface, a ghostly, ethereal palace in the deep. It is a place of perfect stillness, where the worries of the waking world cannot exist. The water is heavy and comforting, like a thick blanket pulled up to your chin. You are drifting back through the layers of time, back to the source, back to the simplicity of that first moment when life took hold of the stone. The complex problems of today dissolve in the vastness of this history. There is only the water, the rock, and the life. The coral polyp does not worry about tomorrow, it simply builds for today. It does not fear the storm, for it is part of the ocean. It does not fear the dark, for it carries the sun within itself. Adopt this ancient wisdom as you rest. Let your mind become like the coral, rooted and calm, letting the currents of thought flow past you without disturbing your peace. You are building your own sanctuary of sleep, a fortress of rest where you can recharge and renew. The story of the coral is your story, the story of life's resilience and beauty. As we leave the dawn of the living stone and move toward the future, carry this image with you, the image of a single spark of life igniting a fire that would burn underwater for eternity. The reef is waiting for you, silent and serene, a monument to the power of quiet persistence. Sleep now, knowing that the foundation is strong, the water is warm, and the ancient guardians of the deep are watching over you.
As we drift deeper into the heart of this underwater narrative, we shift our gaze from the vast, spanning history of the ocean to the microscopic miracle that makes it all possible, focusing our mind's eye on the true builders of this silent world, the architects of the invisible empire known as coral polyps. To understand the grandeur of the reef, one must first embrace the tiny, humble nature of its creator, a creature so small that it could perch comfortably on the tip of a human finger, yet possesses a power that rivals the greatest civilizations mankind has ever known. Imagine shrinking down, becoming weightless and microscopic, floating gently toward the surface of the reef, where you can witness these master masons at work in the cool blue twilight. The coral polyp is a soft, translucent being, delicate as a drop of rain, seemingly fragile against the crushing weight of the ocean, yet it carries within its DNA a blueprint for immortality. It looks like a tiny, upside-down jellyfish, a ring of swaying tentacles surrounding a central mouth, waving gently in the current like a flower in a summer breeze. But do not be deceived by its softness, for beneath this gelatinous exterior lies the heart of a stonemason, a relentless builder that works with a dedication that has no equal in the animal kingdom. Night after night, while the rest of the world sleeps, the polyp extends its body from its limestone cup, reaching out into the nutrient-rich water to feed, and simultaneously performing a feat of biological alchemy that scientists are only just beginning to understand. It pulls calcium and carbonate ions from the surrounding seawater, extracting the very salt of the earth and weaves them together to form a hard protective skeleton beneath its soft body. This is not a process of noise and dust, of hammers and chisels, but a silent secretion of liquid stone that hardens to become the foundation of empires. Consider for a moment the Great Pyramids of Egypt, those towering triangles of limestone rising from the desert sands, built by the sweat and toil of thousands of laborers over decades, standing as a testament to human ambition and the desire to be remembered. We look at them with awe, we study them, we marvel at how heavy stones were moved across the sand. Yet compared to the work of the coral polyp, the pyramids are but a child's blocks scattered in a sandbox. The reef is a living wall that stretches for thousands of miles, visible from the surface of the moon, a structure so massive it alters the rotation of the tides and changes the geography of the planet. And it was built not by giants, but by creatures smaller than a grain of rice. The Great Wall of China, winding over mountains and valleys, is often called the only man-made structure visible from space, but the Great Barrier Reef dwarfs it in complexity and volume, a metropolis of calcium that has been under construction for 20 million years. This comparison is not to diminish human achievement, but to elevate your sense of wonder at the natural world, to help you feel the profound power of small, consistent actions repeated over deep time. There is a lesson in relaxation here, a lesson in the power of slow, steady progress. The polyp does not rush, it does not strain, it does not worry about the size of the wall it must build.
It simply lays down one microscopic layer of limestone today and another tomorrow, and another the day after that. It trusts the process. It surrenders to the rhythm of its own existence. As you listen to this, let yourself adopt the pace of the coral. Let go of the need to finish everything at once. Let go of the urgency that drives the modern world and settle into the slow, tectonic pace of the reef. Imagine the billions of polyps working in unison, a collective consciousness connected by a thin layer of living tissue, sharing food, sharing warnings, sharing the work. They are individual beings, yet they are one entity, a perfect example of community and connection. When one polyp feeds, the nourishment spreads to its neighbors. When one senses danger, the warning ripples through the colony. They are the ultimate cooperators, building a shared home that protects them all. This invisible empire is built on the principle of unity, a fortress constructed of cooperation rather than conquest. As the limestone skeleton grows, it takes on shapes that mimic the world above the waves, forming branching antlers like the trees of a forest, massive domes like the boulders of a mountain, and delicate fans that sway like ferns. The architecture is chaotic yet perfect, designed not by a blueprint, but by the flow of water and the angle of the sun. The polyp knows exactly where to place the next layer of stone to maximize the light for the algae living inside it, creating a perfect symbiosis of biology and physics. It is a builder that never sleeps, yet is always at rest. In the dark of the ocean night, when the sun has vanished and the moon casts a silver glow through the water, the polyps emerge in their full glory. Imagine the reef blooming like a garden of 1,000,000 flowers under the cover of darkness. The tentacles extend, grasping for plankton, dancing in the gentle surge of the tide. It is a silent ballet of feeding and building, a nocturnal industry that happens while the whales sleep and the sharks prowl. The ocean floor, usually gray and rocky, transforms into a fuzzy, vibrant tapestry of life. If you were to touch the reef during the day, it would feel hard and rough like rock, but at night it is soft and sticky, a living skin over a stone skeleton. This duality is the essence of the coral, hard and soft, rock and animal, ancient and ever-renewing. The limestone they produce is pure white, a stark and beautiful canvas, but the polyps themselves are clear, deriving their color from the tiny plant cells that live within them. This partnership is what allows them to build so quickly, or rather quickly in geological terms. A fast-growing coral might add only 10 centimeters to its height in a year. a pace that seems agonizingly slow to us. Yet over centuries, this adds up to mountains that rise from the abyss to break the surface of the sea. Imagine the silence of this construction site. There are no engines, no shouting, no clanging of metal. There is only the swish of water, the click of shrimp, and the hum of the ocean. It is the most peaceful construction project in the universe. As you lie there, imagine that you are witnessing this process in time-lapse. You see the reef rising from the floor, branching out, covering the wreckage of old ships, claiming the seabed for itself. It is a relentless, unstoppable force of life, expanding, growing, healing.
When a storm breaks a piece of coral, the polyps simply begin to build again, cementing the broken piece to the reef, turning a wound into a new foundation. They do not mourn what is lost, they simply build upon it. This is the resilience of the invisible empire. It absorbs the shocks of the world and turns them into strength. The walls they build are porous, full of nooks and crannies, caves and tunnels, creating a complex apartment complex for the fish and crabs and eels that call the reef home. The polyp is a generous landlord, creating space for others as it builds for itself. It asks for nothing in return but the flow of water and the light of the sun. This generosity of spirit is woven into the very stone of the reef. It is a place of giving, a place of shelter. As you visualize these tiny architects, feel a sense of gratitude for their work. They regulate the carbon in the ocean. They protect the coastlines from waves. They provide the nursery for the fish that feed the world. They are the unsung heroes of the planet, working in the dark, deep below where we can see them. They are the custodians of history, locking away the secrets of the past in their calcium rings. Every layer of the reef is a frozen moment in time, a snapshot of the ocean as it was 1,000 years ago. To touch a piece of coral is to touch history itself. The empire they have built is vast and silent, a kingdom of quiet dignity. It does not boast, it does not shout, it simply is. It stands firm against the crushing pressure of the deep, a symbol of endurance. Let the image of the coral polyp fill your mind with a sense of capability. If this tiny, soft creature can build a mountain, imagine what you can endure. Imagine what you can build in your own life with patience and persistence. You do not need to be big to be powerful. You do not need to be loud to be heard. You simply need to continue, to persist, to add your own small layer to the structure of your life, day by day. The water around the reef is clear and purifying, washing away the debris, leaving only the pure white stone. Let the relaxation wash over you in the same way, clearing your mind of the debris of the day, leaving only a core of peace and stillness. The invisible empire is wrapping you in its safety. The walls of the reef are around you, protecting you from the currents of anxiety. You are safe in the lagoon of sleep, watched over by the billions of tiny builders who never stop, who never tire, who hold the ocean floor together with their grip. The connection between the polyp and the stone is unbreakable, just as your connection to sleep is becoming stronger with every breath. The architecture of the reef is the architecture of dreams, complex, beautiful, and hidden from the surface world. Down here in the deep, there is only the work of creation. The destruction of the surface does not matter. The noise of the air does not penetrate. There is only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the polyp, expanding, contracting, building, resting. It is a hypnotic cycle that mimics the beating of your own heart. Expand, contract, build, rest. The limestone grows, the empire expands, and the ocean
cradles it all. You are part of this timeless process now, a silent observer in the court of the coral kings. The grandeur of their work is not in its speed, but in its permanence. They are building for eternity. They are building for a future they will never see. And in that selfless act of creation, they find their purpose. Let yourself drift deeper into this purpose, finding your own reason to rest, your own foundation of stone. The architects of the invisible empire bid you welcome, inviting you to lay down your burden and float among the spires of their great city. The water is warm, the night is long, and the stone is strong. Rest now in the shadow of the reef, and let the builders continue their work while you sleep.
As the narrative of the deep continues to unfold, we turn our attention to the boundary between the wild, untamed ocean and the gentle, sandy shores that we call home. A boundary guarded not by walls of steel or concrete, but by a living rampart hidden beneath the waves. This is the fortress against the storm, the silent guardian of the coastlines, a structure of immense strength and resilience that has stood firm against the fury of the elements for millions of years. Imagine standing on a white sandy beach, looking out toward the horizon, where the deep indigo of the open sea meets the lighter turquoise waters of the shallows, and seeing a line of white foam breaking in the distance. That line of breaking water is the battlefront, the exact point where the energy of the ocean meets the resistance of the reef. It is a place of eternal conflict and eternal protection, where the chaotic power of the Atlantic or the Pacific is tamed and transformed into a gentle lullaby. To understand the power of this fortress, you must first visualize the journey of a wave. Born thousands of miles away in the heart of a distant storm, a wave begins as a ripple, fed by the wind, growing in height and speed as it travels across the vast emptiness of the ocean. It gathers momentum, rolling across the curvature of the earth, an unstoppable force of energy marching toward the land. Without the reef, this wall of water would crash onto the shore with devastating force, eroding the land, tearing away the trees and flooding the earth. But the reef is there, waiting, a submerged mountain range of limestone and life that rises from the depths to intercept the intruder. As the wave approaches the reef, the seafloor rises sharply and the water is forced upward, stumbling over the rugged, complex surface of the coral. The reef is not a smooth wall, but a labyrinth of friction, a texture of millions of branches, plates, and boulders that grab at the water, slowing it down, breaking its rhythm, and dissipating its power. The collision is spectacular yet silent from the shore, a massive release of energy where the wave explodes into a cloud of white spray, its anger spent, its force neutralized. What passes over the reef and into the lagoon is no longer a crushing blow, but a gentle rolling swell, a harmless ripple that glides softly toward the beach to kiss the sand. This is the miracle of the barrier reef, a natural engineering marvel that absorbs 97% of a wave's energy before it ever reaches the coast. Imagine the reef as a benevolent shield, holding back the weight of the ocean so that the lagoon behind it can remain a sanctuary of peace. Inside the protection of the reef, the water is calm and clear, a stark contrast to the churning dark water on the other side. This lagoon is the nursery of the sea, a place where young fish can grow, where seagrass can sway without being uprooted, and where the water is as still as a pane of glass reflecting the clouds above. It is a haven of safety, created entirely by the silent, steadfast endurance of the coral. As you listen to this, let your mind rest in that calm lagoon. Visualize yourself floating in the protected waters, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the surface, knowing that just a mile away, the ocean is roaring, yet you are perfectly safe. The reef is taking the blows for you.
It is standing between you and the chaos, absorbing the stress, absorbing the noise, leaving you in a bubble of tranquility. Throughout history, sailors and explorers have sought the shelter of these reefs. Imagine the ancient mariners tossing in their wooden ships on a storm-tossed sea, praying for relief from the relentless waves. Then, seeing the line of white water, they would navigate through a narrow channel in the reef, slipping into the calm waters behind the wall. The sudden cessation of the rolling motion, the quiet that descends as the ship enters the lagoon, the feeling of salvation. This is the gift of the coral. It has saved countless lives and ships, acting as a harbor built by nature itself. But the reef is not just a passive wall of rock, it is a living entity that heals itself. When a massive hurricane sweeps across the tropics, bringing winds that tear the roofs off houses and waves that swallow islands, the reef bears the brunt of the assault. Branches of elkhorn coral may snap, massive boulders of brain coral may be overturned, but the reef does not retreat. It sacrifices its own body to protect the land behind it. And when the storm passes and the sun returns to the sky, the polyps begin to build again. They cement the broken fragments back into the structure, growing over the scars, making the wall even stronger and more complex than before. It is a lesson in resilience that resonates deep within the human spirit. We all face storms in our lives, waves of anxiety or change that threaten to overwhelm us, but we can build our own inner reefs, our own fortresses of patience and perspective that break the energy of these problems before they reach the core of who we are. The coral teaches us that it is possible to be both soft and strong, to be a living creature yet stand as firm as a mountain. As the guardian of the coast, the reef also protects the very shape of our world. Without these underwater walls, many of the islands in the Caribbean and the Pacific would simply cease to exist, washed away by the relentless erosion of the sea. The beaches of Florida, the iconic Keys, the white sands of Hawaii, they are all there because the reef is there, holding the line, preserving the land. It is a silent service performed without recognition, day after day, century after century. The reef does not ask for gratitude, it simply performs its function, driven by an ancient biological imperative to grow and to endure. Imagine the sound of the ocean at night, the rhythmic crashing of the waves against the distant reef. It is a white noise, a constant low-frequency rumble that signifies safety. It tells you that the guardian is awake, that the watch is being kept. You can sleep deeply because the reef is awake. You can let go because the reef is holding on. The interaction between the wave and the coral is a dance of physics and biology, a transfer of energy from the temporary to the eternal. The wave is transient. It exists for a moment and is gone, but the reef is permanent, a monument to time. As you lie in bed, imagine that you are lying on the shore of a tropical island, the air warm and scented with salt and jasmine. You can hear the wind in the palm trees, a soft rustling sound, and further out, the deep thundering bass of the ocean meeting the reef. It is a white noise, a constant low-frequency rumble that signifies safety. It tells you that the guardian is awake, that the watch is being kept. You can sleep deeply because the reef is awake. You can let go because the reef is holding on. The interaction between the wave and the coral is a dance of physics and biology, a transfer of energy from the temporary to the eternal. The wave is transient. It exists for a moment and is gone, but the reef is permanent, a monument to time. As you lie in bed, imagine that you are lying on the shore of a tropical island, the air warm and scented with salt and jasmine. You can hear the wind in the palm trees, a soft rustling sound, and further out, the deep thundering bass of the ocean meeting the reef. It is a sound of power kept at a distance. The water lapping at your feet is gentle, mere inches deep, tepid and soothing.
This is the water that has passed through the fortress. It has been stripped of its anger and left only with its essence, pure, life-giving water. The fortress against the storm is also a home for the brave. In the turmoil of the breaking waves, where the water is white and oxygenated, hardy species of fish and sharks thrive, using the currents to glide effortlessly. They are the knights of this castle, patrolling the walls, unafraid of the surge. The reef creates a diversity of habitats, from the high-energy impact zone to the deep, shadowed drop-offs on the ocean side, where the wall descends into the abyss. It is a vertical city that acts as a buffer between two worlds, the world of the deep ocean and the world of the shallow coast. The coral itself is designed to withstand the pressure. Its skeleton is dense and compact, engineered by nature to distribute the stress of the waves throughout the entire colony. It is a masterpiece of structural integrity. As you drift closer to sleep, consider the concept of the silent guardian. In a world that is often loud and demanding, there is something deeply comforting about a protector that does not speak, does not judge, but simply stands and protects. The reef is there for the king and the pauper alike. It protects the uninhabited island just as fiercely as the populated coast. Its protection is unconditional. It is a universal embrace of safety. Let this feeling of unconditional safety wrap around you now. Visualize the limestone walls rising around your mind, blocking out the noise of the day, blocking out the stress of tomorrow. The waves of worry may roll toward you, but they crash against your inner reef and dissolve into harmless foam. You are in the lagoon. The water is still. The stars are reflecting on the surface. The fortress is holding. The ancient biology of the coral is working in harmony with the ancient rhythm of the tides. There is a balance here, a perfect equilibrium between force and resistance. The storm may rage outside, but in here, in the heart of the story, there is only peace. The reef has seen millions of storms. It has seen hurricanes that have reshaped continents, yet it remains. It grows back. It adapts. It survives. And so will you. You have the strength of the coral within you. You have the ability to let the waves break and wash away. The dawn always comes, the sea always calms, and the reef always stands. As the image of the fortress against the storm settles in your mind, let it become a permanent landscape of your dreams. A wall of white and gold under the water, a barrier of life that keeps the darkness at bay. The ocean breathes against it, a heavy, rhythmic respiration. Inhale, exhale. The wave comes in, the wave breaks, the water calms. Repeat this cycle in your mind. The wave comes in, the wave breaks, the water calms. It is the heartbeat of the planet, a soothing, repetitive cycle that lulls you deeper and deeper into rest. The guardians of the deep are at their post. The stone is strong, the night is soft. You are protected, you are safe. You are free to drift away into the velvet darkness, knowing that the fortress will never fall, the barrier will never break, and the calm waters of sleep are yours to enjoy forever.
As the currents of our story carry us deeper into the blue, we leave behind the biological dawn and drift toward a time when the history of mankind intersected with the ancient timeline of the reef. A time when the surface of the ocean was white with the sails of great ships and the air was thick with the dreams of explorers. This is the chapter of the Sunken Shadows, the silent graveyard of ambition, where the works of human hands have been claimed, embraced, and transformed by the relentless patience of the living stone. Imagine for a moment that we are traveling back 300 years to the golden age of sail, when the waters of the Caribbean and the Florida Keys were the highways of empires.
Huge wooden vessels, the Spanish galleons, majestic and heavy with oak and iron, plowed through these turquoise waters, their holds laden with the treasures of the New World, with silver ingots from Peru, emeralds from Colombia, and chests of gold coins destined for the courts of Europe. These ships were the marvels of their age, floating cathedrals of canvas and rope, navigated by the stars and the intuition of weathered captains. But beneath the keel, hidden just a few feet below the surface, the coral reef was waiting, a jagged and beautiful hazard that appeared on no map. In the dark of a moonless night, or amidst the fury of a tropical storm, the destiny of these ships often collided with the geology of the ocean. It was not a battle of malice, but a meeting of two worlds, the fragile wood of the forest meeting the unyielding stone of the sea. When a ship struck the reef, the ocean did not destroy it so much as it accepted it, pulling the vessel down into its cool, dark embrace. Imagine the slow, graceful descent of a galleon as it slips beneath the waves, the heavy timbers settling softly onto the sandy floor of the ocean, the sails billowing one last time in the current before collapsing into the silence of the deep. The violence of the wreck is brief, but the peace that follows is eternal. As the ship rests there, tilted on its side in the twilight zone of the reef, the humans are gone. The noise of the commands and the creaking of the rigging has ceased, and a profound stillness takes over. This is where the true magic begins, the slow and artistic reclamation of history by nature. The reef does not see the ship as a tragedy, it sees it as an opportunity, a new canvas upon which to paint its masterpiece of life. Almost immediately, the invisible architects, the coral larvae drifting in the water, sense the presence of a hard structure. They do not care that this was once a cannon capable of leveling a fortress or an anchor forged in the fires of Castile. To the coral, it is simply a foundation. Over the passing centuries, a transformation takes place that is both haunting and beautiful. Imagine looking closely at one of the iron cannons, half buried in the white sand. The cold, dark metal has been encrusted with a layer of pink and purple coralline algae, softening its harsh lines, turning a weapon of war into a garden of peace. From the mouth of the cannon, where fire once erupted, a delicate fan of purple Gorgonian coral now waves gently in the current, filtering the water, catching the light. The irony is poetic and powerful. The instrument of death has become a nursery for life.
Small, colorful gobies dart in and out of the touch hole, and a starfish clings slowly to the barrel, embracing the history with its 5 arms. The wooden hull of the ship, once the pride of the Spanish fleet, slowly dissolves, eaten away by the salt and the worms. But as the wood disappears, the coral replaces it, mimicking the shape of the ribs and the keel. It is a slow-motion fossilization, where the ghost of the ship is preserved in limestone. Brain corals, with their maze-like patterns, grow on the heavy ballast stones that once kept the ship upright, locking them together in a natural cement. The anchor, a massive cross of iron, becomes the centerpiece of a new micro-reef, covered in orange sponges and swaying sea whips. As you drift through this underwater museum, you can see the blending of the artificial and the natural, a gold coin glinting faintly in the sand, half covered by a green anemone, the face of a long-dead king peering out from beneath the tentacles of a creature that has no concept of monarchy or money. The treasure that men died for is now guarded by the scorpion fish and the moray eel, creatures who value a crevice in the rock far more than a bar of silver. This is the ultimate humility of history, the realization that all human striving eventually returns to the earth, or in this case, to the sea. The ocean creates a sanctuary out of the wreckage. Schools of blue-striped grunts and yellowtail snappers swim in formation through the skeletal remains of the hull, turning the captain's quarters into a ballroom of flashing scales. The sunlight filters down through the gaps in the decaying deck, creating shafts of cathedral light that illuminate the dust motes dancing in the water. It is a scene of absolute tranquility. There is no sadness here, only a sense of rest. The ship has found its final harbor, a port where it will never weigh anchor again. For the American audience familiar with the stories of pirates and treasure hunters, this imagery strikes a deep chord, a reminder of the mysteries that lie just off the coast of Key West or in the shallow waters of the Bahamas. But in this sleep story, we are not hunting for the gold. We are hunting for the peace that surrounds it. We are observing the way the ocean heals the scars of the past. The rust bleeding from the iron bolts stains the surrounding coral with streaks of warm orange and red, adding to the palette of the reef. The copper sheathing of the hull turns a brilliant verdigris green, contrasting with the deep blue of the water. It is a painting that takes 300 years to complete. The reef absorbs the ship into its body, making it part of the living wall. In some places, the growth is so thick that you can barely recognize the shape of the vessel. It appears only as a strange, geometric mound on the ocean floor, a secret shared only between the fish and the sea. The silence of the shipwreck is different from the silence of the open ocean. It is a heavy, respectful silence, a library of forgotten stories. As you listen, imagine running your hand over the rough surface of a barnacle-encrusted timber, feeling the texture of time itself. The water here is cool and still, shielded from the surface currents by the depth.
The shadows stretch long across the sand as the sun moves overhead, shifting the mood of the wreck from mysterious to comforting. It is a place where time has stopped. The clocks on board stopped ticking centuries ago, and now the only time is the biological time of the coral, the slow accretion of calcium, the seasonal spawning, the daily migration of the fish. This suspension of time is the essence of deep sleep. You are invited to let your own internal clock stop ticking, to let go of the schedules and the deadlines, and to sink like the galleon into the soft, sandy bottom of your own consciousness. Let the sediments of sleep cover you. Let the gentle currents wash over you. The shipwreck teaches us that there is beauty in letting go, that even when things fall apart or sink, they can be transformed into something new and wondrous. The tragedy of the past becomes the habitat of the future. The cannon becomes a flower pot. The sword becomes a trellis for the coral vine. Nothing is wasted in the economy of the reef. As the sunken shadows of history fade into the gloom of the twilight ocean, they leave behind a feeling of profound connection to the past, not as a burden, but as a foundation. The spirits of the ancient mariners are at peace here, rocked eternally by the motion of the sea, watching their vessels bloom into gardens of stone. The history of the world is not written in books, but in the layers of the reef, where the artifacts of man are hugged tight by the arms of nature. It is a powerful, humbling thought that brings a heavy, warm relaxation to the eyelids. You are drifting past the wheel of the ship, which is now frozen in a turn toward the deep, guiding you down, down, down into the realm of dreams. The water is clear, the history is quiet, and the reef is holding everything in its safe, silent keeping. The shadows are not scary. They are like velvet curtains drawn around a bed, dimming the light so that you can rest. The gold is still there, but it no longer matters. The silver is there, but it is just metal. The true treasure is the silence. The true treasure is the sleep that comes when you realize that the ocean is big enough to hold it all. The ships, the history, the storms,
and you. Floating weightless above the wreck, you are a ghost of the present, visiting the ghosts of the past, finding a common ground in the peaceful embrace of the coral. The story of the ship has ended, but the story of the reef continues, growing over the wood, growing over the iron, growing over the memory, until there is nothing left but the living stone, standing guard over the secrets of the deep.
Leaving behind the heavy silence of the sunken ships and the shadows of history, we allow the gentle current to carry us upward and southward, drifting toward a world that is bathed in perpetual light and painted with a palette so vibrant it defies the imagination of the greatest artists. We are entering the realm of the Kaleidoscope, the shallow, sun-drenched waters of the Florida Keys and the vast, crystal-clear basin of the Caribbean Sea, a place where the ocean transforms into a living jewel of turquoise and aquamarine. Imagine for a moment that you are floating just off the coast of Florida, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Gulf of Mexico, and the water is so clear that it seems to disappear altogether, leaving you suspended in a medium of liquid glass. The sun here is a benevolent artist, piercing the surface with shafts of pure gold that dance across the white sand bottom in a mesmerizing web of light, a hypnotic rhythm of brightness and shadow that rocks you into a state of deep relaxation. This is the backyard of the American continent, a submerged wonderland that has existed for millennia, a secret garden hidden just beneath the waves, where the gray and concrete of the modern world are replaced by the shocking brilliance of nature. As you look down through your mask in this dream, the first thing that strikes you is the color of the water itself, a gradient of blues that shifts from the pale, almost white blue of the shallows to the deep electric royal blue of the drop-off, a color so rich and saturating that it feels as though it is soaking into your very soul, washing away the gray dust of stress and fatigue. But it is when you look closer at the reef itself that the true kaleidoscope begins to turn. The coral here is not just rock, it is a living tapestry, a riot of hues that compete for the attention of the sun. Imagine the massive sea fans, like delicate lace doilies the size of a door, waving slowly in the current, their structures a deep, majestic purple that vibrates against the blue background. They do not move with effort, they sway with the water, a lesson in going with the flow, in bending without breaking. Beside them stand the tube sponges, tall and tubular like the pipes of an underwater organ, glowing in shades of neon yellow, rusted orange, and velvet red. These are not dull, earthy tones, but the colors of a fever dream, bright and unapologetic, yet down here, filtered by the water, they are soothing to the eye, a visual lullaby of warmth. The brain corals, massive domes that can be hundreds of years old, sit like ancient sages on the seafloor, their surfaces etched with intricate, maze-like patterns in shades of mustard and brown and green. Every groove, every ridge is a testament to the slow, persistent growth of life. As you drift over this painted landscape, you become aware of the movement within the color, the fish that inhabit this city of glass. They are the butterflies of the ocean, moving sparks of light that weave through the branches of the coral. The parrotfish, heavy and slow, is a masterpiece of design, its scales a shimmering mosaic of turquoise, pink, and green, looking as if it has been dressed in sequins for a grand ball. It crunches on the coral, a rhythmic sound that travels through the water, cleaning the reef and creating the white sand that lines the beaches of the islands. You see the queen angelfish, regal and flat, gliding with a dignity that commands respect, her body a brilliant blue with accents of electric yellow, wearing a crown of dark spots on her forehead. She does not hurry. She floats, turning sideways to slip through narrow crevices, a flash of color
vanishing into the shadows. The blue tangs, schools of them, move together like a river within the river, a flowing ribbon of deep indigo that winds its way around the fire coral. The fire coral itself stands like antlers of mustard gold, tipped with white, a burning bush under the water that warns you not to touch, only to admire. The entire scene is a sensory overload of beauty, yet it is perfectly balanced, a chaotic harmony where every color has its place. This is the Caribbean as it was before the cruise ships and the hotels, a pristine wilderness of color that pulses with the rhythm of the life force. The water temperature here is perfect, matching the temperature of your body, dissolving the boundary between you and the sea. You feel weightless, supported entirely by the salt and the water, a sensation of flying without wings over a canyon of rainbows. The light refracting through the ripples on the surface creates a net of electricity that crawls over the reef, highlighting a patch of green seagrass here, a red starfish there. The starfish, thick and heavy, rests on the sand in a pose of absolute surrender, its bright red skin a stark contrast to the sugar-white grains beneath it. It hasn't moved for hours, and it won't move for hours more. It is the embodiment of patience. As you float, you notice the smaller details, the Christmas tree worms spiraling out of the coral heads in cones of blue and yellow and orange, tiny festivities that vanish in the blink of an eye if a shadow passes over them, only to bloom again moments later. It is a game of hide and seek played in Technicolor. The water is so transparent that you can see for 100 feet in every direction, a visibility that gives you a sense of expansive freedom. There are no walls here, no ceilings, only the open blue and the endless reef. This is the visual medicine of the tropics, a therapy of color that heals the weary mind. The blues cool your thoughts, the greens ground your spirit, the oranges and yellows warm your heart. It is a holistic healing session conducted by the ocean. Imagine the sound of your own breathing in the snorkel, a slow, rhythmic hiss, pause, hiss. The only sound you hear, rhythmic like the waves, rhythmic like the sleep that is approaching. The kaleidoscope turns slowly. The scene shifts. A school of silver sides, millions of tiny fish no bigger than a needle, moves like a single cloud of liquid mercury, flashing silver then transparent, confusing the predators and mesmerizing the observer. They flow over the reef like mist, a living weather system of the deep. Beneath them, a grouper, large and mottled with earth tones, rests in the shadow of a ledge, its gills pumping slowly, watching the world go by with the stoic expression of an old man on a porch. The diversity of life here is staggering, yet there is space for everyone. The colors do not clash, they complement.
The vibrant violet of a fairy basslet swimming upside down under a ledge looks perfect next to the bright orange of a sponge. It is nature's perfect design. As you visualize this, let the colors wash over your mind, replacing any gray thoughts with these vibrant, living hues. Imagine that you are inhaling the turquoise light and exhaling the dark smoke of stress. You are becoming part of the painting. The Florida sun is warm on your back, penetrating the water to warm your skin even in this dream. It is a gentle heat, a comforting blanket of solar energy. The currents here are lazy, drifting you slowly past the underwater canyons without you having to lift a finger. You are a passenger on the Earth's most beautiful journey. The history of this place is not one of battles, but of blooming. For thousands of years, these corals have been capturing the sunlight and turning it into stone and color.
The Atawak and the Carib Indians paddled their canoes over these same reefs, looking down with the same wonder you feel now. They saw the same colors, the same fish, the same crystal water. You are connected to them through this shared vision of beauty. The reef is a time capsule of color, preserving the vibrancy of the ancient world. As the afternoon light begins to slant, the colors deepen, the blues become richer, the shadows lengthen, adding depth and mystery to the kaleidoscope. The bright yellows soften into golds, the neon greens mellow into emeralds. The reef is preparing for the evening, but for now, it is still a blaze of glory. The beauty of the Caribbean reef is that it demands nothing from you. It does not ask you to think, to analyze, or to solve. It only asks you to look, to witness, to be. In this state of passive observation, your brain waves slow down, matching the slow undulation of the sea fans. You are in a trance of turquoise. The sheer clarity of the water makes you feel clean, purified, washed of all burdens. It is a baptism of beauty. The sand below is rippled by the current, looking like a Zen garden raked by the sea. Every grain of sand was once a piece of shell or coral, part of the cycle of the reef. Nothing is lost, only changed. The kaleidoscope keeps turning, revealing new patterns, new wonders, but the feeling remains the same, a feeling of awe and profound peace. You are floating in a liquid gem, a diamond of the sea. The water supports every muscle, every joint, allowing you to completely let go of your physical form. You are just a consciousness drifting over the garden of the gods. The fish do not fear you. They accept you as a large drifting object, perhaps a log or a cloud. You are part of their world now. The peace of the underwater world is infectious. It seeps into your pores. The colors bloom behind your closed eyelids. Blue, green, gold, purple, a slow rotating wheel of comfort. You are safe in the shallow, warm waters of the Americas, held in the cradle of the Caribbean. The storm is far away. The night is distant. There is only this moment of perfect, colorful stillness. Drink it in. Let the beauty saturate your dreams. This is the kaleidoscope of the deep, and it is spinning you slowly, gently, down into the deepest, most colorful sleep you have ever known.
As the sun climbs to its zenith, casting a net of shimmering gold across the surface of the ocean, we descend into the bustling heart of the reef to witness the daily rhythm of this underwater metropolis, a city that never sleeps, yet always rests in a state of harmonious balance. If you were to hover motionless in the water, suspended by the gentle buoyancy of the salt, you would see that the walls around you are not static stone, but are alive, pulsing with the collective energy of 1 billion tiny lives. These are the breathing walls of the deep, a living tapestry where every inch of space is occupied, every crevice is a home, and every movement is part of a grand, silent choreography. Imagine a city without cars, without noise, without the stress of the clock, where the commuters are schools of fish shimmering like silver coins, and the skyscrapers are towers of coral reaching for the light. The reef during the day is a hive of activity, yet it is an activity so fluid and graceful that it feels more like a dance than a struggle for survival. You watch as a cloud of blue chromis, tiny electric blue fish, hovers above a head of coral, facing into the current to catch microscopic morsels of food. They move in perfect unison, a single mind controlling 1,000 bodies, darting up and down with the rhythm of the swell. If a shadow passes, they vanish instantly into the branches of the coral, only to re-emerge seconds later, a breathing expansion and contraction of the reef itself.
It is a mesmerizing sight, this pulsing of blue against the backdrop of gold and brown, a visual mantra that calms the mind. As you drift along the avenue of sand that winds between the coral structures, you realize that this city has its own traffic, its own highways. But here, the traffic flows with a polite and ancient instinct. A school of yellowtail snapper streams past you, their yellow stripes glowing like neon lights, purposeful and direct, on their way to some secret appointment in the seagrass beds. They part around you like water around a stone, acknowledging your presence without fear, simply accepting you as another drifting object in their world. The water is thick with life. Every surface of the breathing walls is covered in texture, fuzzy algae, swaying anemones, encrusting sponges, all working, filtering, cleaning the water. It is a city that cleans itself, a self-sustaining ecosystem where waste is wealth and nothing is discarded. The sound of this city is not the roar of engines, but the crackle of life. If you listen closely, you can hear the faint rhythmic clicking of pistol shrimp, a sound like dry twigs snapping or bacon frying, a constant white noise that forms the backdrop of the reef. It is a cozy, domestic sound, the sound of millions of tiny creatures going about their day. And then, emerging from the blue haze like an ancient sage, comes the true icon of the reef, the green sea turtle. Imagine this magnificent creature with a shell the size of a shield, mottled with sunburst patterns of brown and green, flying through the water with slow, deliberate strokes of its flippers. The turtle does not rush. It has survived the dinosaurs. It has seen the continents shift, and it knows that there is no need to hurry. It glides past you, its large, dark eyes looking at you with a prehistoric wisdom, a look of absolute peace.
You watch as it descends toward the reef, banking slowly like a glider to land softly on a patch of sponge. It tucks its flippers in and rests, looking for all the world like a weary traveler finding a comfortable chair in a busy airport lounge. The turtle is the embodiment of the reef's spirit, resilient, ancient, and unhurried. Seeing it rest reminds you to rest. Seeing it breathe, taking a long, slow gulp of water to filter through its system, or swimming to the surface for a breath of air, reminds you of your own breathing. Inhale, exhale. The turtle settles in, and almost immediately the service staff of the city arrives. Small cleaner Rosses, tiny fish with bold stripes, approach the turtle and begin to pick at its shell, cleaning away parasites and algae. It is a spa treatment in the wild, a moment of mutual benefit where the turtle gets cleaned and the fish get a meal. The turtle stretches its neck, closing its eyes in apparent ecstasy, surrendering to the care of the reef. This scene is repeated everywhere you look. A massive grouper, a fish as large as a sofa, opens its cavernous mouth to allow tiny neon gobies to swim inside and clean its teeth. In the human world, a small creature entering the mouth of a predator would be a death sentence. But here, in the breathing city, there is a truce, a sacred contract of cooperation. It is a city built on trust. As you float through this neighborhood of nature, you feel a sense of belonging. The reef does not judge you. It does not ask for your credentials. It simply allows you to be a part of its day. The sunlight dances on the ocean floor, creating a web of light that expands and contracts with the waves, a hypnotic visual rhythm that matches the beating of your heart. The walls of the reef are literally breathing oxygen into the water. The microscopic algae living inside the coral tissues are harvesting the sunlight, photosynthesizing, and releasing tiny bubbles of oxygen that drift upward like champagne. You are swimming in a glass of living air. The water is oxygen-rich, energizing, and purifying. The productivity of this place is staggering,
yet it feels effortless. Nature does not strain. The coral does not groan under the weight of its work. It simply exists, and in its existence, it creates abundance. You drift past a swaying garden of soft corals, sea rods and sea plumes that look like ostrich feathers, bending gracefully in the current. They are the trees of this underwater park, softening the hard lines of the limestone. When the current flows one way, they all bow together in a gesture of humility. When the current reverses, they bow the other way. They are flexible, yielding, and because they yield, they do not break. There is a lesson here for the weary mind. Do not fight the current of life. Bend with it. Flow with it. Let the water move you. The reef is a master teacher of acceptance. As the afternoon wears on, the activity in the city shifts. Some fish retire to their crevices, while others emerge. The damselfish, the gardeners of the reef, fiercely tend their little patches of algae, chasing away intruders with a bravery that belies their small size. They are the homeowners, the protectors of their little plots of land. You see a pair of butterfly fish, always together, mates for life, flitting from coral head to coral head. They move like synchronized swimmers, never more than a few inches apart, a symbol of fidelity and partnership in the vast ocean. The breathing walls are full of stories, millions of tiny dramas played out in silence. But these are not stressful stories. They are the natural cycles of life, predictable and comforting. The predator chases, the prey escapes, the cycle continues. There is no malice, only hunger and survival. It is a clean, honest world. The shadows begin to lengthen slightly as the sun moves past its peak, giving the reef a more three-dimensional look. The crevices become darker, the caves deeper, inviting you to peek inside. Inside a small cave, you see the antennae of a spiny lobster waving tentatively, testing the water, waiting for the cover of darkness to come out. The reef is a city of shifts, a place where the day shift hands over to the night shift with seamless precision. But for now, the light is still strong, the colors are still vibrant. The water is a comfortable blanket around you, neither hot nor cold, just a perfect equilibrium. You feel weightless, burdenless. The heavy gravity of the earth seems to have lost its grip on you. You are a creature of the water now, evolving backward in time to when our ancestors first crawled from the sea. There is a memory in your blood of this place, a cellular recognition of the salt and the rhythm. That is why it feels so like home. That is why it brings such deep sleep. The breathing walls are cradling you. The coral polyps, billions of them, are silently pulling calcium from the water, building the wall thicker, stronger, creating the bedrock of the future. You can almost feel the growth, a slow, steady hum of creation. It is the sound of the earth healing itself. Imagine that you are one of the fish, gliding effortlessly through the canyons of coral. You do not need to walk, you only need to flick a fin. You do not need to carry anything, the water carries you. You are free. The busyness of the reef is a happy busyness, a productive hum that is far more relaxing than silence. It is the sound of life thriving. The sea turtle lifts off from its resting place and begins to swim toward the deep blue drop-off, its silhouette fading slowly into the azure haze. You watch it go, feeling a sense of gratitude for its presence. It is heading out into the open ocean, into the great unknown, with absolute confidence. You too can head into the unknown of sleep with confidence. The reef has shown you that the world is organized, that nature is taking care of the details, that you can let go of the controls. The breathing walls will keep breathing whether you watch them or not. The city will keep running. The tides will keep turning. You can resign from your duties as the manager of your life for a few hours. You can clock out. The reef is taking over the watch. As you drift away from the bustling wall, moving slightly further out into the blue, where the view is wider, the details of the individual fish blur into a general movement of color and light. The city becomes a mural, a painting of peace. The breathing of the reef aligns with your own breath, in and out. The swell lifts you up and sets you down, up and down, a rocking cradle made of water and light. The sun is warm, the sea is kind, and the walls are strong. The living stone holds the secrets of the day, and as the light begins to change, the city prepares to exhale, sending a wave of peace out into the ocean that reaches you, touches you, and pulls you gently down toward the soft sands of sleep.
As we leave the bustling daytime streets of the Coral City, we turn the pages of history back to a time when the map of the world was still being drawn, a time of parchment and ink, of compass and sextant, when the oceans were not highways, but vast and mysterious frontiers that held the promise of gold and the threat of the unknown. We are entering the era of the great explorers, the legends of the blue frontier, where the boundary between the sea and the sky was a line of infinite possibility. Imagine that you are standing on the wooden deck of a three-masted schooner, the wind filling the heavy canvas sails above you with a deep, rhythmic thrumming sound, the ship rising and falling with the long, slow swells of the Atlantic or the Pacific. For weeks, there has been nothing but the deep, dark indigo of the open ocean, a color so profound it looks like ink. But then, as the ship sails closer to the hidden lands of the tropics, the water begins to change. This was the moment that stopped the breath of captains and kings alike, the moment the deep blue suddenly transformed into a shocking, luminous turquoise, a color that seemed to glow from within, as if the ocean floor had been lit by 1,000 lamps. To the sailors of the 15th and 18th centuries, men like Christopher Columbus and Captain James Cook, this was not just a change in depth, it was an encounter with a new world, a world that defied logic and reason. Imagine a scene in 1492 as the heavy Spanish galleons approached the Bahamas, the sailors hanging over the rails, their eyes wide with disbelief as they looked down not into darkness, but into a crystal-clear garden that lay just beneath the keel. They called them the Gardens of the Queen, for no other name seemed grand enough to capture the beauty of the coral archipelagos that stretched for miles in every direction. To these weary travelers who had known only the gray chop of the European Atlantic, the coral reefs were a hallucination, a mirage of underwater palaces built by spirits of the deep. They saw rocks that looked like brains, fans that waved like purple lace, and fish that wore the colors of court jesters. The logbooks of these ancient mariners are filled with attempts to describe the indescribable, their ink-stained handwriting trying to capture the sensation of floating over a submerged forest of stone. It was a mixture of terror and wonder, for the reef was a paradox. It was beautiful, but dangerous, a jagged wall that could tear the bottom out of a ship. Yet it was also a place of abundance, where the fish were so plentiful they could be caught with a basket. Imagine the silence of the ship as it drifted over a shallow reef on a calm day, the crew peering down into the transparency, seeing the shadow of their own vessel moving across the brain corals and the staghorns like a passing cloud. It was the first time humanity had truly looked into the face of the ocean and seen not a monster, but a garden. We move forward in time now to the vast, uncharted waters of the Pacific, joining the legendary Captain James Cook aboard the HMS Endeavour as he navigates the labyrinth of the Great Barrier Reef. To the indigenous people, the reef was a known provider, a source of life, but to Cook,
It was a puzzle of immense complexity, a wall of coral that stretched for over 1,000 miles, a structure so massive it seemed impossible that it was built by nature alone. Imagine the sense of awe that must have washed over him as he realized that this was not a series of islands, but a single continuous entity, a living creature the size of a country. There is a deep historical romance in this image, the tiny wooden ship, a speck of human ambition, navigating the edges of a biological giant that had been growing since the Ice Age. When the winds died down and the sails went slack, the silence of the reef would envelop the ship, a silence broken only by the distant roar of the surf breaking on the outer ribbon, a sound the sailors called the voice of the deep. They told stories of mermaids and sea monsters, trying to make sense of the strange shapes they saw in the water, for the human mind always seeks to fill the unknown with legends. But the truth of the reef was far more magical than any myth. It was a world where rocks grew, where plants were animals, and where the water itself seemed to be alive. As you listen to this, let yourself feel that primal curiosity, that pure, unadulterated wonder of seeing something for the first time. We have mapped every inch of the globe now. Satellites orbit the Earth, and sonar scans the deep. But in the realm of sleep, we can return to the mystery. We can be the explorers of our own dreams. Imagine that you are the cartographer of this blue frontier, drawing the lines of the reef on a fresh sheet of parchment, the smell of salt and old paper in the air. You are mapping a world of silence. The fear the sailors felt has washed away with the centuries, leaving only the awe. The rocks that bleed color, as they were sometimes called, are now known to us as the coral polyps, but the poetry of the description remains. It speaks of a time when nature was still the master, and we were just visitors passing through. The legends tell us that the reef has a voice, a siren song that calls to those who listen closely. It is a hum of energy, a vibration of life that resonates through the hull of the ship and into the bones of the sailor. It is the song of the tides, the song of the moon pulling the water across the limestone. Captain Cook noted the walls of coral rock rising perpendicular from the bottomless deep, a description that evokes a sense of vertigo and grandeur. Imagine looking over the side of a small boat and seeing that wall disappearing into the abyss, a vertical cliff of life fading into the dark blue below. It puts our human concerns into perspective. We are small, and the ocean is vast. We are temporary, and the reef is enduring. This realization is not frightening, it is liberating. It allows us to let go of our self-importance, to drop the heavy baggage of our ego, and float weightless in the presence of something greater. The explorers slept on their ships, rocked by the same waves that rocked the reef, their dreams filled with the colors of the coral. They were the first to sleep in the presence of this wonder. You are now joining that lineage of dreamers. The legends also speak of the phosphorescence, the burning water that appeared at night. We now know it as bioluminescence, the plankton glowing when disturbed. But to the ancient sailors, it was as if the stars had fallen from the sky and were floating in the sea. Imagine the wake of the ship glowing with a ghostly green fire, a trail of light marking the path through the darkness. The reef at night was a place of magic, where the line between the heavens and the ocean dissolved. The water mirrored the galaxy. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine that you are lying in a hammock on the deck of one of these ancient ships. The air is warm and still, the sails are furled, and the anchor is holding fast in the sand. The ship swings gently on its chain, a slow pendulum motion that hypnotizes the mind. Above you, the Southern Cross or the North Star burns bright and clear, unpolluted by the lights of any city. Below you, the coral reef is awake, its millions of mouths open to feed, a silent, thriving city hidden by the dark. You are suspended between two infinities, the infinity of space and the infinity of the ocean. The creaking of the ship's timbers is a comforting sound, the sound of safety, the sound of a vessel that has weathered the storm. These legends of the blue frontier are not just stories of navigation, they are stories of connection. They remind us that we have always been drawn to the water, that we have always sought to understand the mysteries of the deep. The coral reef was the ultimate mystery, a place where the rules of the land did not apply. It was a world of fluid dynamics, of buoyancy, of three-dimensional living. The sailors who returned to Europe brought back tales of sea trees and stone flowers, sparking the imagination of the world. You are listening to the echoes of those tales now, refined by time, softened by the distance of history. The urgency of their voyage is gone, leaving only the romance. The danger of the reef is gone, leaving only the beauty. You can sail these waters without fear. You can explore the blue frontier without leaving your bed. The map is in your mind. The ship is your breath. The destination is sleep. The ancient mariners used the stars to find their way, but you can use the silence. Let the silence guide you. Let the image of the pristine, untouched Caribbean or the vast, wild Pacific fill your vision. No plastic, no engines, no noise, just the wind, the wood, and the water. The clarity of the water in those days must have been startling. Imagine looking down through 50 feet of water and seeing a starfish on the bottom as clearly as if it were in your hand. That clarity is here for you now. Clear your mind. Let the murky thoughts settle like sand. Let your consciousness become as transparent as the tropical sea. The legends are true. The beauty is real. The blue frontier is waiting for you to close your eyes and drift across its boundary. The captains of old have lowered their sails. The logbooks are closed. The lanterns are extinguished. The ocean has reclaimed the silence. The reef remains, a monument to the ages, watching the ships come and go, watching the stars turn overhead. It is the silent witness of history, and now it witnesses your rest. It invites you to join the crew of the sleeping, to become a voyager in the realm of dreams, carried by the gentle, endless current of time. Sail on into the blue, into the deep, into the peace of the legends.
We have journeyed through the history of the stone and the kaleidoscope of the light, but now, as we drift deeper into the heart of the reef, we invite a new sense to take the lead, closing the eyes of the mind to focus entirely on the ears of the spirit. For the ocean is not a place of silence, but a place of profound and rhythmic sound. This is the silent symphony of water, a continuous, living composition that has been playing without pause for millions of years, a natural white noise that is more soothing than any machine, more grounding than any lullaby. Imagine that you're submerging your ears beneath the surface, the air of the world above disappearing with a soft rush of bubbles, replaced instantly by the heavy, comforting acoustics of the deep. Sound travels differently here, moving 5 times faster through water than through air, wrapping around you, hugging you, touching you from every direction at once, so that you do not just hear the ocean, you feel it resonating in your very bones. The first thing you notice is not a specific sound, but a texture, a constant, low-level crackling that forms the background canvas of the reef. This is the sound of the pistol shrimp, billions of tiny creatures hidden in the crevices of the coral, snapping their claws in a ceaseless, microscopic applause. To the human ear, it sounds like the frying of bacon in a distant room,
or the gentle, static hiss of an old radio tuned between stations, or perhaps the comforting patter of rain falling on a tin roof during a summer storm. It is a sound of immense density and detail, a blanket of white noise that covers the mind and muffles the sharp, intrusive thoughts of the day. As you focus on this crackle, this static of the sea, you feel your brain waves slowing down, matching the chaotic but constant rhythm of the shrimp. It is a sound that signifies life, a sound that says the city of the reef is awake and working so that you do not have to. Beneath this high-frequency crackle lies the deep bass hum of the ocean itself, the voice of the currents and the tides pushing through the channels of the reef. It is a low, thrumming vibration, like the sound of the wind blowing over the mouth of a cave, or the distant roar of a highway heard from the safety of a quiet bedroom. This is the breath of the planet. Whoosh, and then silence. Whoosh, and then silence. The water surges forward, pushing the sea fans and the soft corals, creating a soft swishing sound as it flows over the rough limestone, and then it pulls back, a rhythmic inhalation and exhalation that rocks you, cradles you, lulls you. You can sync your own breathing to this tidal rhythm. Inhale as the water surges, exhale as it retreats. The symphony is slow. The tempo is set by the moon, and there is no rush, no sudden changes, only the eternal ebb and flow. Occasionally, distinct sounds emerge from the white noise, gentle reminders of the life around you. You hear the scrape and crunch of the parrotfish, the dedicated stonemasons of the reef, as they use their beak-like mouths to bite off tiny pieces of algae-covered coral. It is a dry, rasping sound, distinct and crisp, the sound of the reef being reshaped, the sound of sand being made.
Every grain of white sand on the beaches of the Caribbean was born from this sound, from this endless cycle of consumption and creation. It is a productive sound, a sound of work being done in a world where work is natural and necessary, not stressful. You might hear the faint, low grunting of a school of fish communicating in the dark, a series of soft thuds that are felt more than heard, like a heartbeat in the water. These are the instruments of the orchestra, playing without a conductor, improvising a melody of survival and peace. The surface of the ocean acts as a barrier, a soundproof ceiling that keeps the noise of the human world at bay. The engines of boats, the voices of people, the wind and the rain, all are muffled, distant, irrelevant. Down here, in the blue cathedral, there is only the immediate, intimate sound of the water. Imagine the sound of your own movement, the slow, fluid displacement of water as you drift. It is a soft swoosh, a feeling of friction and flow. The water is heavy, supporting you, dampening your movements, making everything slow and deliberate. Even the bubbles you exhale have a sound, a melodic rising warble, bloop, 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 as they wobble their way to the surface, expanding as they rise, carrying away your carbon dioxide, carrying away your tension. Watch them go in your mind's eye, silver spheres of air racing to the sky, leaving you safely below in the quiet. The silent symphony is not just about what you hear, but about the absence of what you don't hear. There are no alarms here. There are no ringing phones. There are no sirens. There is only the organic, biological, industrial noise of an ecosystem in perfect balance. This auditory landscape is designed to induce a trance. It occupies the part of your brain that seeks patterns, the part that stays awake worrying, and gives it something neutral and constant to focus on. The crackle of the shrimp becomes a mantra. The hum of the current becomes a meditation.
You are floating in a sensory deprivation tank created by nature, where the water is the same temperature as your skin and the sound is a wall of comfort. As you go deeper, the sounds of the surface fade completely, and the sounds of the reef become the only reality. It is a primitive, ancestral soundscape. Long before humans walked upright, long before language was invented, the ocean sounded exactly like this. To listen to the reef is to remember a time before stress existed. It connects you to the womb of the world, a place of safety and fluid warmth. The acoustic pressure of the water feels like a weighted blanket, a physical sensation of being held together. You are safe inside the sound. The white noise of the reef washes over you, scrubbing your mind clean, smoothing out the jagged edges of your thoughts, just as the water smooths the stones. Listen closely to the layers. High pitch, the shrimp. Mid pitch, the water flowing over the coral. Low pitch, the distant waves breaking on the outer wall. It is a full spectrum audio experience that saturates the senses. The silent in the title does not mean the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. It is the silence of the mind that is achieved through the symphony of the water. As you lie there, let the imaginary water fill your ears. Let it drown out the chatter of the inner voice. There is nothing to think about. The fish are swimming, the coral is growing, the water is moving. Everything is as it should be. The predictability of the sound is its power. You know the shrimp will keep crackling. You know the tide will keep turning. This reliability allows you to let go of your guard. You do not need to listen for danger, because the reef is a place of shelter. The sounds are the sounds of a neighborhood that looks out for its own. If a predator approaches, the small fish will go silent, a sudden drop in volume that alerts everyone. But right now, the symphony is playing at full volume, which means all is well, all is safe. The volume is consistent, a steady hum that wraps you in a cocoon of frequency. Imagine the sound waves traveling through the water, passing through your body, relaxing your muscles, untying the knots in your shoulders, loosening the tension in your jaw. You are becoming liquid. You are becoming part of the acoustics of the deep. The barrier between you and the ocean is dissolving. You are no longer a listener. You are part of the song. The water inside you resonates with the water outside you. In this state of deep auditory relaxation, visuals may appear. Flashes of silver fish, the sway of green seagrass dancing to the rhythm of the sounds you hear. It is a multi-sensory lullaby. The white noise of the reef is the ultimate sleep aid, provided by the earth itself. It is the sound of eternity. It is the sound of home. As the chapter of the silent symphony draws to a close, the sounds do not stop. They simply become the background of your sleep, a permanent, comforting soundtrack that will stay with you through the night. The crackling fades into a gentle hiss. The thrumming becomes a soft vibration, and the water holds you in its mute, melodic embrace. You are drifting on a sea of sound, floating towards the horizon of unconsciousness, guided by the whisper of the waves and the song of the living stone. The symphony plays on, for you, for the fish, for the ocean, a timeless performance of peace that requires no ticket, only the willingness to close your eyes and listen.
The day has been long and filled with the vibrant energy of the sun, but now the great celestial wheel begins to turn, and the fiery orb dips lower toward the western horizon, marking the beginning of the most magical hour in the underwater realm. We are entering the twilight in the Turquoise Kingdom, a time of profound transition where the boundaries between the sea and the sky seem to dissolve in a wash of color and light. Imagine floating on the surface for a moment, watching the sky above catch fire with hues of burnt orange and soft violet and rose pink as the sun kisses the water's edge. But the true spectacle is happening below, where you are drifting weightless in the warm embrace of the current. As the angle of the sun changes, the light no longer strikes the water directly, but slices through it at a slant, creating magnificent cathedral shafts of gold that pierce the blue depths like tangible pillars of energy. These are the crepuscular rays, the fingers of the sun reaching down for one last touch of the reef before the night claims it. The water, which was a bright electric blue at noon, now transforms into a shimmering liquid gold, a suspension of amber light that feels almost thick and syrupy to the touch. You can see the dust motes and the tiny plankton dancing in these beams like fairies in a spotlight, illuminating the microscopic life that sustains the ocean. It is the golden hour of the deep, a time when the harsh shadows of midday soften and the entire reef is bathed in a flattering, honeyed glow that makes the ancient limestone look like burnished bronze. The corals themselves seem to sigh in this light, their colors shifting from the bright neons of the day to deeper, warmer tones of rust and ochre and olive. The massive brain corals glowing on their tops where the light hits them, while their crevices sink into deep, mysterious shadow, creating a three-dimensional landscape of incredible depth and texture. It is a visual symphony of contrast where the light fights a gentle losing battle against the encroaching dark. As you watch the sun dip lower, the shafts of light begin to move, sweeping across the ocean floor like the hands of a clock, marking the passage of time not in seconds, but in color. The shadows of the sea fans stretch long across the white sand, distorting and elongating like spirits reaching out for the night. There is a hush that falls over the reef, a palpable slowing down of the pulse of the city. The frenetic energy of the feeding fish begins to wane as the residents of the kingdom prepare for the end of their shift. The large schools of grunts and snappers that hovered in the current all day begin to descend, seeking the shelter of the reef structure, their yellow stripes catching the last fading rays of the sun. The parrotfish, those colorful builders of the sand, find their safe nooks within the coral rock and begin the fascinating process of spinning their mucus cocoons, a delicate sleeping bag that will mask their scent from predators during the long night ahead. It is a time of winding down, a time of seeking shelter, a time of coming home. The water temperature begins to drop ever so slightly, not a coldness, but a refreshing coolness that soothes the skin and signals the body that it is time to rest.
You can feel this cooling sensation washing over you, starting at your toes and moving up to your head, a gentle wave of relaxation that mirrors the cooling of the earth. The turquoise of the water is changing now, evolving minute by minute. What was gold turns to a rich, saturated emerald, and then slowly, steadily into a deep, royal blue. It is the color of kings, the color of deep sleep. The visibility decreases, not because the water is dirty, but because the light is leaving, drawing a velvet curtain around you, narrowing your world to the immediate surroundings, creating a sense of intimacy and safety. You are no longer part of a vast, endless ocean, but part of a small, cozy room of water. The distant reef fades into a blue haze, leaving you alone with the gentle rhythm of the swell. This transition is not abrupt. It is a slow, seamless fade, a perfect gradient that nature has perfected over millions of years. As the sun finally slips below the horizon, the sky above turns a bruised purple, and the light underwater changes one last time into the blue hour. This is a time of suspension, a gray-blue twilight where shapes become silhouettes and the familiar becomes mysterious. The predators of the twilight hour, the jacks and the barracudas, become active for a brief moment, using the low light to hunt, but even their movement is stealthy and quiet, adding to the sense of hushed anticipation. The diurnal fish are gone now, tucked away in their bedrooms of stone, and the nocturnal creatures have not yet fully emerged, leaving the reef in a state of tranquil emptiness. It is a pause in the breath of the world, a moment of absolute stillness between the inhale of the day and the exhale of the night. You drift through this silent blue world, feeling the peace of the transition settling into your bones. The colors are gone now, replaced by shades of blue and gray, but there is a beauty in this monochrome, a simplicity that rests the eyes and calms the mind. The visual noise of the kaleidoscope has been turned off, leaving only the form and the shape of the reef. You can see the silhouette of a sea turtle resting on a ledge, its shell a dark dome against the fading light, its breathing slow and rhythmic. It is watching the sunset, just as you are, sharing this moment of planetary alignment. The connection between the surface and the deep is strongest now, as the last light filters down, connecting the air to the water. You imagine the ancient sailors watching this same sunset from the decks of their wooden ships, wondering what lay beneath the darkened waves. You know what lies there, a kingdom of peace, a fortress of rest. The twilight is a bridge that carries you from the activity of waking life to the passivity of sleep. You are walking across this bridge now, step by step, deeper into the blue.
The golden rays have vanished completely now, leaving a memory of warmth that radiates from the stone. The ocean is holding the heat of the day, releasing it slowly into the night, a thermal embrace that keeps you warm as the darkness gathers. The surface of the water above you is a mirror of silver, reflecting the first appearing stars. You are floating between the stars above and the stars below, for the bioluminescence is just beginning to wake up. But that is a story for the night. For now, you are simply existing in the afterglow. The turquoise kingdom has become the indigo kingdom. The mood is somber but sweet, a melancholic beauty that touches the heart. It is the feeling of a day well spent, the feeling of a task completed. The reef has done its work, the fish have fed, the coral has grown, and now there is only the rest. The shadows have swallowed the bottom of the reef, leaving only the tops of the tallest coral heads visible in the faint light, like mountain peaks rising from the clouds. You float above them, a silent observer of the coming night. The water feels thicker now, more supportive, as if the darkness has added weight and substance to the sea. It holds you up effortlessly, allowing you to relax every muscle, to unclench your jaw, to drop your shoulders. You are fluid, you are liquid, you are one with the twilight. The sounds of the day have faded, and the sounds of the night have not yet begun, leaving a vacuum of silence that is pure and heavy. It is the sound of the light leaving. It is the sound of the color fading. It is the sound of peace. As the final traces of blue turn to black, the transition is complete. The day is done. The history of this specific day has been written in the layers of the coral, and now the book is closed. You are safe in the darkness, protected by the reef, guided by the memory of the light. The twilight has washed away the worries of the sun and prepared you for the healing power of the moon. Drifting, sinking, floating, you surrender to the night. The turquoise kingdom sleeps, and so do you. The water is still, the light is gone, the peace remains. Deep, deep down in the indigo dark, you find the ultimate relaxation, the end of the journey of light, and the beginning of the journey of dreams. The velvet curtain of the night has now fully descended upon the ocean, wrapping the world in a cloak of absolute darkness that is not empty, but rich and heavy with the promise of magic. We have watched the sun fade and the twilight deepen, and now we witness the true miracle of the reef, a transformation so profound and surreal that it feels as though we have stepped through a looking glass into a different dimension entirely. This is the awakening of the night bloom, the secret life of the coral that reveals itself only when the sun has turned its back and the moon claims the sky. During the day, the reef appeared to us as a landscape of stone, a fortress of hard limestone and rock, static and solid against the waves. But as the darkness settles, a signal passes through the chemical composition of the water, a silent bell ringing in the deep that wakes the sleepers. Imagine hovering weightless in this black water, your eyes adjusting to the dim light of the moon filtering down from above. And as you look closely at the rock face before you, you see it begin to move. It is not the rock itself moving, but the millions of tiny living creatures that built it, the coral polyps, emerging from their stony cups to greet the night. It starts with a single movement, a tiny translucent flower unfurling its petals, and then another, and then 100, and then 1,000,000, until the entire reef is vibrating with life. What was once a hard, barren wall is now a soft, fuzzy tapestry of swaying tentacles. It is as if a desert has suddenly bloomed into a lush meadow in the span of an hour. The hard brain corals, which looked like smooth boulders during the day, now look like hills covered in velvet moss as the polyps extend their delicate arms into the current. The star corals, which appeared as pitted rocks, now live up to their name, transforming into constellations of living tissue, each polyp a tiny star with a mouth at its center, reaching out to catch the passing stardust of the ocean. This is the night bloom, a nocturnal ballet of feeding and feeling that turns the underwater world into a garden of ghosts. The colors are different now, stripped of the sun's yellow filter. They glow with an inner luminescence, pale whites, ghostly greens, and soft purples that seem to radiate from within the animals themselves. Imagine floating through this garden, a giant drifting over a field of alien flowers. The tentacles of the polyps are delicate and gossamer thin, waving gently in the surge of the tide, a synchronized dance that mimics the wind blowing through a field of wheat. It is a scene of immense fragility and immense hunger, for these flowers are hunting, catching the microscopic plankton that rises from the deep like a reverse snowstorm. The water is filled with this life, a soup of tiny organisms that drift into the waiting arms of the coral. It is a silent feast, a peaceful consumption where the energy of the ocean is transferred to the reef. The beauty of this blooming is hypnotic. You watch a branch of staghorn coral, usually sharp and antler-like, now softened by thousands of tiny polyps, making it look like a fuzzy pipe cleaner or a branch of a fir tree covered in new spring growth. The transformation is total. The rock has become animal. The stone has become flower. The hardness has dissolved into softness.
As you visualize this, let your own body dissolve into softness, letting go of the hard edges of your muscles, the tension in your bones, becoming pliable and relaxed like the swaying polyps. You are part of the bloom now. The ocean at night is not a scary place in this story. It is a womb of safety, a place where the busyness of the day is replaced by the slow, rhythmic pulse of feeding. The darkness hides you, protects you, wraps you in anonymity. You are floating in a suspended state of grace. The night bloom is a reminder that there is a hidden side to everything, a softer side that only comes out when it is safe. The coral waits for the cover of darkness to reveal its true self, its vulnerable self, and in doing so, it creates a spectacle that rivals any garden on land. Imagine the scale of it, miles and miles of reef, from the Florida Keys to the coast of Belize, all blooming at once, a massive, synchronized event that happens every single night, unseen by human eyes, witnessed only by the fish and the moon. It is a secret shared between the earth and the sea. The visual is dreamy, almost blurry, like an impressionist painting where the details are lost in the overall feeling of movement and light. The bioluminescence in the water adds to the dream, tiny sparks of blue light that flash when a fish swims by, acting like fireflies in this underwater forest. The flower animals of the coral catch these tiny lights, creating a sparkling, shimmering effect on the reef wall. It looks like a city seen from an airplane at night, a grid of living lights pulsing in the dark. The tube corals open their bright orange and yellow mouths, looking like sunflowers that have decided to bloom at night. The soft corals, the gorgonians, pump their feathery bodies, expanding and contracting, adding a heartbeat to the garden. It is a breathing landscape. You can feel the oxygen in the water, the life force that is generated by this massive biological engine. The awakening of the night bloom is a slow process. It does not happen with a snap, but with a fluid, gradual unfolding, just as sleep unfolds over your mind. First, the eyelids get heavy, then the breathing slows, then the thoughts drift, just as the polyp emerges, extends, and expands. The parallel is perfect. You are blooming into sleep. The water around you is cool and silky, carrying the scent of salt and the memory of the deep. There is a sense of infinite space around you, the darkness stretching on forever, but you are anchored here by the beauty of the reef. The flowers do not have roots in the earth, they have roots in the stone, connecting the living to the dead, the past to the present. It is a continuity that brings peace. You are watching a process that has not changed in 50 million years. The dinosaurs saw this, the first whales saw this, and now you see it in the theater of your mind. The dreaminess of the scene is enhanced by the silence. There is no sound of the blooming, only the visual spectacle. It is a silent explosion of life, a firework display in slow motion where the sparks never fade but sway eternally in the dark.
The flowers are sensitive. If you were to approach too closely, they would retract, snapping back into their stone shells in the blink of an eye, turning the garden back into a wall. But in this dream, you are gentle. You are a ghost. You do not disturb them. You float among them, accepted as part of the night. The tenderness of the tiny tentacles reaching for nourishment touches something deep inside you, a recognition of the basic need for sustenance and safety. The reef is feeding its soul, and you are feeding yours with rest. The night bloom is a time of renewal. During the day, the coral is closed, protecting itself from the harsh sun and the nipping fish, but at night it opens up. It becomes vulnerable. It grows. Sleep is your time to open up, to heal, to grow. The darkness is your friend, just as it is the friend of the coral. Let the image of the millions of underwater flowers fill your vision, a field of white and gold and pale green swaying against the black velvet of the sea. It is a sight of impossible beauty, a secret miracle that happens while the world above is sleeping. You are privy to this secret. You are part of the inner circle of the ocean. The current gently rocks the polyps, and it rocks you, back and forth, open and close, reach and rest. The rhythm is undeniable. It creates a spiral of relaxation that pulls you down, down into the center of the flower,
into the heart of the reef. The awakening is complete. The garden is fully in bloom. The ocean is alive with a quiet, mysterious energy that wraps around you like a blanket of stars. You are safe in the garden of the night. The stone has softened. The world has softened. There is nothing hard left to hurt you. There is only the velvet water, the swaying bloom, and the deep, dark, beautiful sleep that awaits you in the center of the turquoise kingdom. The night bloom will watch over you, filtering the dreams from the water, keeping the water clear and pure for your rest. Sleep now, surrounded by the millions of silent, watching flowers of the deep. We have witnessed the blooming of the coral garden and the descent of the velvet night. But now, as the silence deepens and the world slows to the rhythm of the tides, we prepare to witness the most ethereal magic the ocean has to offer. A phenomenon that blurs the line between the sea and the sky and turns the darkness into a canvas of living light. This is the dance of the bioluminescence, the celestial ballet of the microscopic world where the water itself seems to ignite with a ghostly electric blue fire. Imagine that the moon has slipped behind a cloud, leaving the ocean in total obsidian darkness, a blackness so rich and thick it feels like a physical weight. Yet, as your eyes adjust to this void, you begin to notice that the darkness is not empty, but alive with millions of tiny drifting stars. These are the plankton, the dinoflagellates, the tiny wandering sparks of the sea that possess the ancient biological secret of creating light from within their own bodies. It is a chemical miracle, a reaction of luciferin and oxygen that produces no heat, only a pure, cold glow that rivals the neon lights of a city, but with a softness that is entirely natural. As you float there, suspended in the neutral buoyancy of the warm salt water, you realize that you are floating in a liquid galaxy. Every movement in the water triggers a reaction, a spark of blue that flares up and then slowly fades away like a dying ember. Imagine moving your hand slowly through the water in front of you and watching as a trail of blue sparkles follows your fingers, a stream of fairy dust that swirls and eddies in the wake of your movement. It is as if you were painting with light, writing your name in the language of the deep. The water feels charged with energy, a magical fluid that responds to your touch. You look down toward the reef and you see that the fish are also writing their stories in the dark. A shark glides by in the distance, not visible as a shark, but as a ghostly silhouette outlined in blue fire, its tail sweeping back and forth, leaving a rhythmic trail of glowing vortices that linger in the water long after the creature has passed. It is a hypnotic sight, this silent movement of light, a visual lullaby that captures the attention of the conscious mind and gently leads it into a trance. The flashing of the plankton is not chaotic, but rhythmic, sparkling like diamonds on black velvet, blinking on and off with the surge of the currents. It mirrors the night sky above so perfectly that you lose all sense of orientation. Up becomes down, and down becomes up, and you are simply a consciousness floating in the center of the universe, surrounded by stars on all sides. This feeling of weightless suspension in the cosmos is the ultimate state of relaxation. There is no gravity here to pull on your heavy limbs, no floor to press against your feet, only the infinite support of the water and the mesmerizing dance of the lights. The bioluminescence acts as a hypnotist's watch, swinging back and forth, flashing blue, fading to black, flashing blue, fading to black. Follow the lights with your mind's eye. Watch a single particle of plankton as it drifts closer to you, glowing with a soft intensity, and then watch it dim and vanish into the gloom. Then find another.
And another. This repetitive focus clears the mind of all debris, washing away the thoughts of the day, leaving only the pure sensation of sight and the deep feeling of peace. The colors are specific and soothing, usually a cyan or a teal, colors that cooling to the brain, signaling the nervous system that it is time to power down. Imagine a school of tiny baitfish erupting from the reef, frightened by a shadow, and as they dart away, they create an explosion of light, an underwater firework display that expands outward like a nebula in space. It is a silent explosion, beautiful and harmless, a celebration of life in the dark. The ancient sailors saw this and thought they were sailing through burning water, but you know it is the cool, safe embrace of nature. The Milky Way of the ocean is thickest here in the tropics, a soup of life that glows with potential. As you drift, you might see the glowing outline of a jellyfish pulsing past you, its bell throbbing with light, looking like a spaceship from another world. The transparency of its body catches the bioluminescence, making it look like a lantern made of glass. It moves with a slow pumping rhythm, pulse and glide, a rhythm that you can match with your breath. Inhale as it glows, exhale as it fades. Inhale the light, exhale the dark. The dance of the bioluminescence is a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there is light, that even when we cannot see the sun, the earth has its own way of illuminating the path. This thought brings a profound sense of comfort, a feeling that you are never truly alone in the dark, that the world is watching over you with a million tiny glowing eyes. The chemistry of the light is the chemistry of dreams. It is fleeting, intangible, there one moment and gone the next, just like the images that float through your mind as you drift off to sleep. Allow yourself to become one of these drifting lights. Imagine that your heavy body is dissolving into a million particles of light, scattering into the ocean, drifting free on the currents. You are no longer solid. You are energy. You are light. You are flow. The barrier of your skin dissolves and you merge with the water. The stars of the sky are reflected in the mirror of the surface, creating an infinity loop of light, and you are caught in the middle, safe and suspended. The silence of this light show is absolute. There is no crackle, no hum, just the visual rhythm of the glow. It is a silent disco of the deep, where the plankton dance to the music of the tides. The hypnotic effect deepens as you watch the patterns of light swirling around the coral heads. The waves breaking on the distant reef crest look like crashing lines of blue fire, rolling and tumbling in slow motion. It is a mesmerizing repetition, crash and glow, roll and fade. The ocean is breathing light. The American audience, perhaps used to the lights of the city, which are harsh and demanding, will find this natural light to be a balm for the soul. It demands nothing. It sells nothing.
It simply is. It is the primordial light, the first light that ever existed in the oceans of the early earth. Connect with that ancient history. Feel the timelessness of the glowing sea. You are traveling back to the beginning, before stress, before noise, before time. There is only the water and the light. The bioluminescence is also a shield, a way for these tiny creatures to startle predators. But for you, it is a blanket of stars pulled up to your chin. The visual stimulation is soft, low contrast, perfect for heavy eyelids. You find your eyes wanting to close, to shut out the external world and watch the internal lights of your own dreams. The transition is seamless. The blue light of the plankton becomes the blue light of your dreamscape. The drifting sensation of the water becomes the drifting sensation of sleep. You are falling slowly, gently,
like a snowflake falling through the night sky, but you are falling through warm water, surrounded by sparks of blue. Deeper and deeper you go, past the glowing trails of the fish, past the illuminated fans of the coral, down into the safe, dark comfort of the reef's foundation. The dance continues above you, a ceiling of stars protecting you, but you are moving below it now, into the quiet, into the shade, into the rest. The lights blur together into a soft, glowing haze, a nightlight for the soul. The hypnotic rhythm has done its work. Your heart rate has slowed to match the pulse of the jellyfish. Your breathing has deepened to match the swell of the sea. Your mind has quieted to match the silence of the deep. You are entranced by the beauty, held by the water, and guided by the light. The dance of the bioluminescence is the final show before the curtain falls, the last beautiful thing you see before the deep sleep takes you. It is a promise of wonder, a promise that the world is magical, a promise that you can let go and drift. The millions of tiny lights bid you good night, winking out one by one as you sink deeper, until there is only the peaceful, velvety, comforting dark. Sleep now in the afterglow of the ocean's stars. Sleep now in the center of the dance.
The dance of the lights has faded into the memory of the night, and the reef has settled into its deepest and most profound silence, a heavy and comfortable quiet that signifies the middle of the night watch. We are moving now away from the open water and the delicate swaying of the soft corals, drifting down toward the base of the reef, where the shadows are thickest and the caves are deepest, to witness a scene of primal tranquility that few human eyes have ever seen. This is the slumber of the giants, the time when the monarchs of the deep, the massive creatures of muscle and power, surrender to the overwhelming pull of rest. To understand the peace of the ocean, you must imagine the sheer scale of these beings, creatures that can weigh hundreds of pounds, yet in the water they are weightless, suspended in a state of perfect equilibrium. Imagine approaching a large, cavernous overhang at the bottom of the reef, a place where the limestone has been carved away by currents over thousands of years to create a natural garage, a sanctuary protected from the flow of the open sea. Inside this dark cathedral, you see the silhouettes of the nurse sharks, the gentle giants of the shark family. During the day, they are active, but now they are piled together on the soft white sand like a litter of sleeping puppies, resting in a communal heap of gray skin and slow breath. There is no aggression here, no hunting, only the heavy, rhythmic camaraderie of sleep. You can see their gills pumping slowly, opening and closing with a hypnotic regularity. Whoosh, pause, whoosh, pause. A soundless rhythm that circulates the oxygen-rich water through their bodies, even as they dream. They do not need to swim to breathe like their open ocean cousins, so they lie completely still, their pectoral fins tucked into the sand, their small eyes golden and unblinking, but seeing nothing. The sight of a predator at total rest is a powerful image of safety. If the shark, the apex of the food chain, feels safe enough to close its mind to the world, then surely you are safe too. You can feel the weight of their relaxation, the absolute lack of tension in their bodies. They are heavy, grounded, connected to the earth of the seafloor, yet held by the water. Let your own body mimic this heaviness. Feel your muscles turn to lead, sinking deeper into the mattress, just as the shark sinks into the sand. There is a profound comfort in being heavy, in letting gravity do its work, in stopping the constant motion of holding yourself up. Beside the sharks, deep in the shadows of a crevice, you might find the Goliath grouper,
a fish the size of a small car, ancient and mottled like the bark of an old oak tree. This fish is the grandfather of the reef, a creature that may have been watching these waters for 50 years or more. It does not lie on the sand, but hovers just inches above it, a masterpiece of neutral buoyancy. Imagine the feeling of being that big, that heavy, yet floating effortlessly without moving a muscle. The grouper hangs in the water column like a planet suspended in space, its massive pectoral fins fanning the water gently just to maintain its position. It is a meditation in stillness. The fish is aware, but it is in a trance, its metabolism slowed down, its energy conserved.
It looks at you with a large, dark eye that holds the secrets of the deep. A look of stoic patience that tells you there is no rush, there is nowhere to go, there is only this moment of suspension. The presence of these giants anchors the energy of the reef. They are the solid, immovable objects around which the water flows. As you drift past the grouper, you feel a sense of reverence for its stillness. It teaches you that power is not about movement, but about the ability to be still, to be calm in the midst of the ocean. In another nook of the reef, you witness one of the most fascinating bedtime rituals of the underwater world. The parrotfish, the colorful architect we saw during the day, has found a safe ledge and has done something miraculous. It has secreted a transparent bubble of mucus around its entire body, a biological sleeping bag that masks its scent from predators. It is floating inside this delicate, invisible cocoon, safe and sound, protected by its own creation. Imagine the feeling of being wrapped in such a bubble, a shield that keeps the world out and keeps your warmth in. It is a cozy, private space within the vastness of the ocean. The parrotfish sleeps deeply inside its bubble, its bright colors dimmed for the night, its busy beak silent. It has built a wall between itself and the worry of the world. You too have built a wall, the walls of your room, the blankets on your bed, the bubble of your own consciousness. You are safe inside. The giants of the reef are not just the fish, but the sea turtles as well. We return to the green turtle we saw earlier, now fully asleep, wedged under a limestone shelf so that it doesn't float away. It has found a perfect spot where the current holds it in place, like a hand holding a stone. Its head is drooping, its eyes are closed, and its flippers hang loosely at its sides. A turtle can hold its breath for hours while it sleeps, slowing its heart rate down to a mere few beats per minute. This is a deep metabolic sleep, a hibernation for the night. The water around the turtle is still, undisturbed by its slow pulse. Seeing a creature that breathes air finding such peace underwater is a reminder of the adaptability of life. It trusts the ocean to wake it when it needs air. It trusts its body to regulate itself. You can trust your body too. You can trust your breath to flow in and out without your control. You can trust your heart to beat. You can surrender to the sleep, knowing that the biology of your body is looking out for you, just as the turtle's biology looks out for it. The slumber of the giants is a collective event. All across the reef, from the shallow gardens to the deep drop-offs, the big engines of the ocean have powered down. The barracuda, usually a silver arrow of speed, is now drifting vertically in the water column, dark and dormant, looking like a piece of driftweed. The stingrays have buried themselves in the sand, leaving only their eyes exposed, covered by a blanket of the seafloor. The entire ocean floor is a dormitory of sleeping titans.
There is a heavy, drowsy magic in the water near these creatures. It feels thicker, slower, more viscous. It is the atmosphere of deep rest. As you visualize these scenes, imagine that you are absorbing their energy. You are becoming the grouper, hovering weightless in the dark. You are becoming the shark, heavy and relaxed on the sand. You are becoming the turtle, wedged safely in your niche. The silence is magnified here in the caves. The sound of the shrimp is muffled. The sound of the waves is gone. There is only the sound of your own internal rhythm. The darkness is comforting, like a velvet blindfold. The water presses against you with a gentle, uniform pressure, holding you together, making you feel secure. The giants do not dream of the future. They do not regret the past. They exist entirely in the now, in the physical sensation of rest. This is the lesson they offer you. To be a giant of sleep, you must let go of the timeline. You must simply be a body at rest. The reef protects its elders. The coral grows around the caves, creating curtains of sea fans that hide the sleeping giants from view. It is a system of mutual respect. The ocean respects the need for sleep. Even the currents seem to slow down around the sleeping sharks, parting respectfully to avoid disturbing them. The water temperature is stable, the conditions are perfect. There is nothing to do but sleep. As the narrative of the giants washes over you, let your eyelids feel as heavy as the eyelids of the whale shark. Let your breathing become as slow as the sea turtle. You are sinking deeper into the substrate of your mind. The imagery of the large, slow-moving bodies is designed to slow your own movements. Fast thoughts cannot exist in the presence of a sleeping grouper. Anxious thoughts cannot survive in the bubble of a parrotfish. The scale of the ocean absorbs it all. The giants are the anchors of the dream world, holding the ship of your consciousness steady. They have been sleeping this way for millions of years, a lineage of rest that remains unbroken. You are joining that lineage tonight. The darkness of the cave is not empty. It is filled with the presence of peace. It is a populated silence. You are not alone in the dark. You are surrounded by the gentle, sleeping guardians of the blue frontier. They are your companions in the deep. They are watching over the reef in their dreams, and the reef is watching over them. The symbiosis of sleep connects every living thing. The shark needs the rest to hunt. The coral needs the dark to feed, and you need the sleep to live. It is the most natural, essential act in the world. As we prepare to leave the caves and drift into the final currents of the story, take one last look at the sleeping giants. See them in their dignity, their power paused, their energy stored. They are beautiful in their stillness. They are the monuments of the deep. Let their image be the heavy weight that pulls you down, 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 past the waking world, past the light, into the deep, dark, nourishing caverns of the slumber of the giants. The water flows over them, eternal and soothing, washing them in the lullaby of the tides, and washing you in the lullaby of words. You are heavy. You are still. You are sleeping with the giants.
And now, at the very end of our long and beautiful journey through the underwater ages, we prepare to leave the physical structure of the reef behind, releasing our hold on the solid world of stone and coral to surrender ourselves completely to the gentle and infinite embrace of the open ocean. We have witnessed the birth of the living stone. We have explored the sun-drenched shallows of the Turquoise kingdom. We have swum through the shadows of the sunken galleons, and we have rested in the caves of the sleeping giants. But now, the time has come to drift away from the wall, to float out past the drop-off, where the continental shelf falls away into the abyss, and the water turns from blue to a deep and comforting indigo. Imagine that you are lying on your back in the water, weightless and buoyant, your eyes fixed on the velvet darkness of the sky above, while the current gently catches you, not with force, but with a soft and steady pull, carrying you slowly out toward the horizon of sleep. As you drift, You feel the presence of the reef receding behind you, the great bustling city of the coral becoming a distant memory, a silhouette fading into the gloom, and with it fades the history of the world. You are leaving behind the timeline of the Earth, leaving behind the stories of the explorers, leaving behind the biology of the polyp, and entering a space of pure existence where there is only you and the water. Imagine the sensation of the history you carry, the worries of your own life, the schedules and the deadlines, the memories of the past, and the fears of the future. Imagine all of these things as heavy stones that you have been carrying in your pockets. As you drift over the edge of the deep, you reach into your pockets, and one by one, you drop these stones, watching them fall away from you, spiraling down, down, down into the bottomless dark below. They are gone. The ocean has swallowed them. They are no longer your burden to carry. You are lighter now, lighter than air, a spirit of the water floating on the surface of eternity. The water here in the deep is smoother than the water of the reef. It is a vast, unbroken sheet of glass that rises and falls with the slow, rhythmic breathing of the planet. There are no obstacles here, no sharp coral branches to avoid, no currents to fight, only the endless open freedom of the deep. You are drifting into the blue, a color that is so dark and rich it feels like a heavy blanket wrapping around your mind. This is the realm of the eternal drift, a place where time does not exist. The clock has stopped. There is no morning to wake up to, there is no night to get through. There is only this everlasting moment of peace. The silence here is profound. It is not just the absence of noise, but the presence of a deep, resonant stillness that vibrates in your soul. The crackling of the shrimp has faded away. The swishing of the waves on the shore is miles behind you, and the only sound left is the slow, steady thrum of your own heart beating in time with the universe. You are alone in the best possible way, isolated in a cocoon of safety, far removed from the noise and the chaos of the land.
The American continent is far away. The cities are far away. The lights and the cars and the voices are all gone. There is only the Atlantic, the Pacific, the water that connects all things. Feel the current supporting your neck, your spine, your legs, lifting you up so that you do not have to use a single muscle to stay afloat. You are a piece of driftwood, a leaf on a stream, surrendering control to the greater power of the flow. This surrender is the key to deep sleep. You do not have to steer the ship anymore. You do not have to read the map. The current knows where to go. It is carrying you toward a place of restoration, a secret harbor of the subconscious, where the water is still and the dreams are sweet. As you look down into the water beneath you, you see no bottom, only a gradient of blue fading into black. This depth is not scary, it is comforting. It means there is space, infinite space for you to expand, to let your thoughts dissolve like salt in the water. The deeper the water, the deeper the sleep. You are floating over miles of water, suspended in the cradle of the world. The temperature is perfect, neither hot nor cold, a perfect equilibrium that dissolves the boundary between your skin and the sea. You cannot tell where you end and the ocean begins. You are becoming the ocean. You are becoming the drift. The stars above you are mirrored in the water below you, so you are floating in the center of a sphere of stars, a galaxy of peace. The bioluminescence we saw earlier is now just a faint memory, a soft glow that reminds you of the magic, but even that is fading now as your eyes grow heavy. The visual world is turning off.
The colors are muting. The turquoise has become navy. The navy has become charcoal, and the charcoal is turning into the soft, velvet black of deep unconsciousness. This is the color of rest. This is the color of the void where healing happens. Allow yourself to sink a little lower in the water, letting the coolness wash over your face, cleansing your forehead, smoothing out the lines of tension. You are sinking, drifting, floating. The words are becoming distant echoes, ripples on the surface of the silence. You are moving away from the story, moving away from the voice, moving into your own private experience of the deep. The reef is safe, the giants are sleeping, the history is preserved, and now it is your turn to join them in the great slumber. Imagine that you are a diver slowly descending into the blue hole, watching the circle of light above you get smaller and smaller, not with fear, but with a sense of relief. You are going down into the quiet. The pressure of the water feels like a hug, a weighted blanket that presses the relaxation deep into your tissues. Every cell in your body is letting go. The drift is slow and lazy. There is no destination. The journey is the destination. You are simply being carried, drifting, drifting, drifting. The repetition of the movement is hypnotic. Up on a swell, down in a trough, up, down, up, down. It is the rocking of a cradle. The Mother Ocean is rocking you to sleep. The vastness of the sea makes your problems feel microscopic, invisible, irrelevant.
In the face of this eternal blue, nothing matters but the peace of this moment. You are timeless, you are weightless, you are free. The connection to the land is severed. You are a creature of the deep now. The salt water is in your blood, the rhythm of the tide is in your breath. You are returning to the source. The eternal drift is taking you back to the beginning, to the silence before thought. Your mind is a calm sea, glassy and still. If a thought arises, it is just a ripple, and it quickly fades back into the smoothness of the surface. There are no storms here. The weather is perfect. The night is endless. You feel a heavy, warm sensation spreading through your limbs, the physical sign that sleep has arrived. It starts in your feet, moves up your legs, into your hips, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your neck, and finally settles behind your eyes. Your eyelids are locked down, heavy with the weight of the ocean. You could not open them if you tried, and you do not want to try. You only want to drift, to sink, to sleep. The story of the coral reefs has been told, the picture has been painted, and now the canvas is being washed clean. The white sand, the colorful fish, the purple fans, the golden light, they are all dissolving into the mist of dreams. They are there if you need them, but for now, you need nothing. You need only the dark. The final chapter is not a conclusion, but a transition. It is the doorway to the dream world. You are passing through that doorway now. The water is guiding you through. You are safe. You are loved by the universe. You are held by the deep. The eternal drift is your companion. It whispers to you in the language of silence. It tells you to let go, let go, let go. Deeper, deeper, deeper. The word sleep is written on the waves. The word peace is written in the stars. You are drifting into the heart of the mystery, into the place where the conscious mind shuts down and the soul takes over. The journey is over. The rest has begun. You are floating in the void of comfort. There is nothing left to see. There is nothing left to hear. There is only the feeling of the drift, the gentle pull toward the horizon,
the soft sinking toward the bottom. The story ends here, in the quiet, in the dark, in the deep, blue, eternal sleep. Good night to the reef. Good night to the ocean. Good night to the earth. Good night to you. Sleep, sleep, sleep.